Lagbagba. You can get many of Stoneboy's new releases on his YouTube channel. I'm talking about YouTube. We don't have a YouTube channel. JoyNews TV is our official YouTube channel.
We've got videos on demand.
Have you ever listened to Stoneboy songs?
I like Stoneboy. I like Stoneboy. I don't, okay, yeah, I like Stoneboy. I've listened to some of his songs. Right. I like the one he featured Beanie Man, because I used to listen to Beanie Man back
when
then.
You were a child?
When I was in the world.
When you were in the world?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now I'm in the kingdom of God.
Amen. Amen. We thank God for life. It's
well, I hope
His
you're
beauty
having
and glory. That's why we're alive.
Of course. I hope you're having a great day. I've had a good one. And like always, I say, glory to God for another day. We trust that it will be a very good one.
Gifty, you look good.
Oh, glory to God. Glory to God.
So for you. So what do we do?
All right.
We'll start with today.
Okay, I think today I want to start with the Ghanaian Times rather than the Daily Graphic, as I do all the time. So the Ghanaian Times has a picture of President Akufo-Addo. It says, government to sanction COVID-19 defiance. That's President's warning. And that story is on page 12 of the newspaper. Then Ghana Water Company Limited begins spillage of excess water from Wager Dam. If you live around the Wager Dam, you want to look out for that and you want to take the necessary precautions. Protests greet ICOM's takeover of operations at Tema Port. This has been announced for some time now that the ICOMS, that's ICUMS, is taking over operations of Unipass, actually GCNet, and then Unipass was there as well. So there's been some protests as well, pretty much expected. And the big story, the banner headline there says, don't rush to open churches, clergy urges restraint. Yesterday we had that story here on the AM show when we spoke to the Ghana Christian Council, and they are saying that if you know that you're genuinely not ready to open up, do not put in place the necessary measures that ensures that the COVID-19 doesn't spread in your church before you open up. So that story is on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. On the back page, traders in markets within Sekondi Takoradi metropolis to rotate. You've heard that. I mean, the beginning of the story, at the beginning when the COVID-19 started, Takoradi market was one of the model markets. They had instituted social distancing measures and all of that. But unfortunately, it's become the new place where the disease is spreading really fast. So we're told that they're going to be rotating. We'll see how that one goes as well and what other districts can learn from it. It comes with a picture of Anthony KK Sam, who is the MCE for the area. And JN Products donate items worth 76,450 to journalists. Yesterday, we got our share as well. So the JN Products manufacturers of cosmetics and detergents, they donated some PPEs yesterday. We got our share here at JoyNews. We're grateful for that. Let's take a quick look at the center spread, what it says over there. Government to sanction COVID-19 defiance. It has a full story on the center spread. Easing COVID-19 restrictions. Don't rush to open churches as well. That story is also there. And Ghana's COVID-19 tally now 8,070. 2,947 recoveries, 36 people have died. You want to take care of yourself and observe all the social distancing protocols. Government urges churches to form task forces to curb COVID-19. We have that story here as well. It was a perspective by the spokesperson for the chief imam that they want to put together committees that helps them put in place the necessary protocol, the necessary modalities that helps them to roll out the opening up and ensures also that there is safety. Well, and I did say that I was going to just look at the center spread, but a story caught my attention here as well that we need to just mention quickly before we'll come back to it later, is the easing of restrictions not in the interest of the nation. That's according to the NDC. We brought you that story here on JoyNews as well. And think tank admonishes EC to be decisive on mandate. You hear an interview by Roland Walker later on the show.
Definitely. You want to continue?
Okay, sure. So let's do the Daily Graphic. Daily Graphic, we used to have a guy when I was growing up who comes around Tema sharing, I don't know if you know him, you may have heard of him, he because was coming, I think he came from Ashaiman then. Okay. He sells the Daily Graphic.
Then you wanted to say he sells graphic.
No, he sells newspapers.
Yeah.
But you know, he uses graphic to
do the selling.
Yes. So he rides on the bicycle, and when he comes, anybody who lives in Tema should know him. He comes around and he'll be like, "Hey, graphic." So it's one of the ways that we used to identify newspapers back then in Telecom. It's in 9.
Wonderful.
Go like A graphic. Okay, so we have the A graphic, and the front page has a very disturbing story, trust me. Children solicit for COVID-19. And it comes with a picture of a child getting money or taking money from a driver in a vehicle. Comes with other pictures as well of children who are begging, and Roland, we see them all the time, every day. And I'll read for you quickly what it says on the front page. It says that for some time now, some children between 2 and 16 years have invaded the streets of Accra and other cities to solicit for alms. Strangely, in this era of COVID-19 disease pandemic, the children go about the activities without wearing nose masks or any form of protection. These children dangerously rush to motorists and passengers in traffic to beg for money and food. Most of the time, they engage in their activities in concert with some elderly women believed to be their mothers and guardians, who usually sit on the pavement or under the trees along the streets. It is high time the Department of Social Welfare took proactive measures to ensure that the children are not only safe, but are also taken off the streets to protect them from contracting COVID-19. Who knows? Some of them may already have the COVID-19, which they could in turn be transmitting to both motorists and pedestrians, some of whom do not wear masks. I think this is a very disturbing story, and we should focus a bit more on that as we go along. Perhaps if you have masks for now, if you're not the social welfare, you can donate masks to them right now. Another story there is EC trains 42,025 officials, and that story is written by Albert K. Salia. Comes with a picture of Mr. Samuel Tete, Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations at the EC. Today we'll be talking to the EC. Roland Walker has that interview as well. WAEC Education Ministry discusses BEC WASI. Page 13 has the story, and COVID-19 update cases. It gives us the figures: 8,070, recovered 2,947, 36 people have died. Back page of the graphic, daily graphic. Ghana Water Company Limited to spill excess water from Wager Dam. We saw that story earlier in the Ghanaian Times. You want to take a look at it. And court adjourns case involving Bishop Obi Nim. That story. Roland, why are you laughing?
He's my friend.
Is your friend?
Yeah.
Oh wow, you go to his church?
No, I watch his channel.
Ah, right, okay.
Jesus Christ, I watch him.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Mixed reactions greets easing of COVID-19 restrictions. That's the story we brought you all throughout the day yesterday on Joy News. And freight forwarders protest challenges with clearing system at Tema Port. Now, Tema Port is an area to watch at this point where we're seeing the transition. There'll be a lot of stories there as well to tell. Roland.
No, definitely. Now, let me go to the Finder. It has on the front page, constitute COVID-19 task forces to enforce compliance. Minister tells churches and mosques. We tried calling the whole of yesterday. The Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, he says that from 7 p.m. you issue a statement.
I think that was yesterday. I don't know if that statement came on because I didn't monitor. But yeah. So,
COVID-19 hampers railway construction as over 70 workers test positive, and you know the company undertaking this work, especially you find them from the Shire Hills area, right after Afienya, going towards Shire Hills, and after Shire Hills you're heading towards the Atimpoku Akosombo area. AFCONs, they call them, and some of their workers initially were the first batch of cases that were recorded in the eastern region. But it's good news that at least they are being taken care of. We also do have Electoral Commission must be decisive with approach on new register. Dankwa Institute, we have some reactions from the Electoral Commission today. Make sure you stay tuned for that. ICUMS outlines clearing procedures at ports, and we know that it's the Unipass substitute that's taken over, or that has taken over from GCNet, and looking at revenue assurance measures at Ghana's ports. All right, let's go to the Daily Guide. The Daily Guide has on the front page, Freddie Blay backs Bonzo for Lembele. He has a snapshot with Kwesi Bonzo, who apparently is also vying for the candidature elect to contest the MP position. You remember, the MPP are also vying for that seat as well. It's currently being held by Emmanuel Amakofi-Bois. We also have national security to get Woyome properties. 100 worshippers, 1 hour, says Nana. And we're waiting to go to church. I'm eagerly waiting Sunday to be in church. I'll visit the Bethel Methodist Church in Tema.
Oh, you should.
28.
28. You'll love it.
Yes, I will.
You'll love it. A shout out to Reverend Obeng. One of our pastors, very close to.
And you say you're in the choir. Each time you have the time,
I'm not in the choir. I'm in the singing group, because when we say in my church, when you say a choir, you're looking at the choral group.
The main choral group. Those who wear the black and the white cape.
We sing the songs that make people, jiggy and all.
When I'm very charismatic for now, quite indisciplined people. Obinim Fires lawyer Quickster Wayne style. And then we have on the back page, I foresaw Jan's greatness, Abedi Pele, and he was on GTV Sports Plus. That will be over the weekend on Sunday, and he was tearing because he remembered some of the personalities that discovered him, and it was a very emotional interaction. Almost 5 hours of that interaction it was. I watched it throughout, very emotional. And it's a soccer maestro, Abedi Ayu Pele, says he foresaw Asamoah Gyan's potential long before he peaked in performance. Like a seer, I love the way they write these stories. Like a seer, Abedi, considered as one of the continent's legends, said he saw the former Sunderland man's greatness the very first day he saw him gracing the turf. Yeah, Abedi Pele. Yeah. Okay, Sancho Floyd tribute booking wrong. And then we have Kotoko set to sack 10 players. Meanwhile, on the side, we have a caption story with also an attached picture of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who plays for Arsenal. Says Arsenal extend Aubameyang's stay. He's a lead striker, their captain, and what a way. There were a number of interests from top clubs, including PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. He's already hitting 30. Well, how time flies. Now let's go to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. It has on the front page Akufo-Addo's 10th COVID-19 update, an analysis and the way forward. Quite interesting. When you read the story, it's on page 2. You get to find a number of interesting analysis or remarks or pointers in there. You have to grab a copy of the Daily Dispatch newspaper to get to know what the insight is. Fulani community in Ghana protests against discrimination is also on the back page. Full story is what they call a news desk report. And there are quotes from Joy FM as well, and a number of the media houses that the Daily Dispatch attributes in this extensive news desk report. Fulani community in Ghana protests against discrimination. It brings me to the subject of these solidarity we are attaching to Black Lives Matter, etc. When we know that in country we have a lot of vulnerable groups and discriminatory actions that are meted out to a number of individuals and groups across our country, we never hit the streets. There are no social media hashtags to support them.
But I disagree with you, Roland, because when you talk, I think that this is the bigger picture. If you ask me, the bigger picture is that
the Black Lives Matter.
Yes, it's not. I think that the people who are protesting or people who are joining in the protest or speaking up, it's not because they want to necessarily align with what's happening in the United States, but it's because black people are black people everywhere. And yesterday I was telling the team in the newsroom how my experience with Joseph Opoku-Gakpo in the U.S. in the U.S. last year. We were just driving, and we got Joseph was driving. We were traveling somewhere, and we got pulled over. And I'm saying that the person who saw us and pulled us over will not know that we are Ghanaians. They will see us as black people.
You got pulled over.
Yes.
In the U.S.
Yes, and I'm saying that they will see us as people with a dark skin, as black people, not as they won't know that we are Ghanaians.
They got pulled over because
that we were going slow in a speed lane. We didn't know. So I'm saying that it's important for us to talk about this because it can happen to you wherever you are. If you
so you're saying that if you're going slow in a
racism is wrong. Hang on. The point is racism. You're not talking about our being pulled over. I'm talking about racism, and I'm saying that it is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. We cannot encourage it. That's why everybody needs to be a part of this campaign. That in the 21st century, in the United States of America, we should not be talking about racism in the way it is manifesting in this way. We got pulled over because it's an offense in the U.S.
Okay, so you committed an offense in the U.S.
Because we were I was trying for us.
I didn't even know that in the U.S. they have fast lanes. Lanes where you have to go
so
at
on the motorway, let me tell you.
Limit.
So on the motorway, for example, if you want to, you're not going fast on the motorway. You have to be in the outer lane. We were in the inner lane, and I kept telling Gakpo, speed limit. So he was going slower, and apparently that's an offense. So we got pulled over. But and I'm saying that anything could have happened to us.
Did you get pulled over because you were
black people?
What did the policeman do to you?
That's a long story. Let's go on with the newspapers. No, but we need to make sure. We need to indicate the fact that Black Lives Matter. Racism everywhere, anywhere is wrong.
Racism is wrong.
It is. And that's what
everybody agrees racism is wrong. But I'm saying that we shouldn't be living lives of double standards.
What's life of double standards?
My friend, there are a lot of actions and then discriminations that are undertaken in respective countries in Africa.
Oh, but that's a different matter. That's a different matter. It doesn't negate. That's a different matter. It doesn't negate.
Lives are lost in respective countries in Africa every time.
Give me an example.
Because you go to the DR Congo, constantly we have oppressions from governments on their own citizens.
That's a different matter. That has to be discussed differently. But racism, people talking about racism doesn't take anything away from the discussion.
So why is it that we don't attach
the
same sort of solidarity and strength and martial resources to be able to clamp down and then call out some of those actions proportionally?
I agree.
It's something that we all need to do.
I agree, but the point I'm making is I do not use that to negate what other people are doing about Black Lives Matter. That's my point. And I'm sure that everybody agrees with me.
No, you can't see them. I'm sure many people agree with me as well. Many things.
Text us. Send us a WhatsApp on our WhatsApp line and let me know what you think. Can you just say, because everybody is talking about Black Lives Matter, that we have left our bread and butter issues and we're talking about Black Lives Matter?
You just read a story on the front page of the Daily Graph.
Black Lives Matter, so it's not necessary. I want to hear from you on that one.
On the street,
yes, that's a problem. We need to deal with it.
You and I should hit the streets and protest for all these cases to be rid of the street. That is.
We can do that. We can do that, but it doesn't stop us from also contributing.
But the racism and the protest and the solidarity takes precedence over the concerns
Not necessarily. You can always, nobody is stopping you from going out to protest for this story. Anyway. Okay, anyway, but I still want to hear from you. Do you think that because there are discriminations elsewhere, we shouldn't talk about this bigger picture of the discrimination? I think by all means we should talk about it, but it doesn't negate, one doesn't negate the other. Both are wrong.
You have any
I do. Okay, so I have the I do.
You have the I do issue?
No, I just liked it the way I said that I do. So I was just reflecting on it. The Daily Statesman. Errant churches and mosques will be closed down. Government cautions. It comes with a picture of the Information Minister Kojo Opon Nkrumah. Obiamwa, Deputy Minister for Local Government, says here, urges electorates to ignore anti-new voters register campaigners. That story is there as well. And the banner headline there says, EC lied to Supreme Court in 2012. That's the Daily Statesman reporting. And DI takes on Charlotte Osei. That's Dankwa Institute takes on Charlotte Osei Mahama over voters register illegalities. That story is on the page 2 of the newspaper. George Floyd death. Here we go again. Jordan truly pained and plain angry. It comes with a picture of Michael Jordan, who's angry about Black Lives Matter, about the death of George Floyd. All of us should be, wherever you are. And Odion Igalo, Manchester United extend strikers loan to January for sports lovers. You want to take a look at that story as well. And let's see what's on the in the center spread. Okay. So, okay, Maida MEDA's $1.5 million lab will make GSA competitive, says Professor Dodo. It's been a while since I heard from him, the Ghana Standards Authority. And then the Ghana Maritime Authority removes over 10,000 tree stumps from Oti River. That's a process they've been carrying out for some time now. It's good because those cause a lot of accident on the river. Hold on. Okay. That's it for the daily statement.
I want to focus on, and my pick is on the story captioned on the front page of the Daily Dispatch.
Yeah.
And it's captioned well on the back page. And I'm sure you can see the back page of the Daily Dispatch. It will be put on the screen. It says Fulani community in Ghana protests against discrimination. Now, when you read the story, we have a press statement signed by the General Secretary of the Fulani community in Ghana, Yakubu Musa Bari. And plainly, and this is not the first time, talks about concerns they have over the reluctance of the National Identification Authority and its officers and assigns to register its Fulani descendants right here in Ghana. And if you trace history, the Fulani community, even though mostly are nomadic, some of them have come to live here for decades.
Of course.
If not for over 100 years. Now, if somebody is a Fulani person, was born here, has the descendants here, and per what the Constitution states, that person is a citizen.
Of course.
Okay. And we have ways by which we can do verification of people who we think are alien to our country, but still could attest to the fact that they have a right to be citizens.
I think that's done.
And I think that we need to put our minds to some of these related issues, that there are people who need to be protected in our community who form the minorities or the vulnerable. And especially related to the issue of citizenship, we need to ensure that we treat everybody equally. Now, I've lived in a community in which we have people who trace their descendants to Nigeria, to Benin, and I'm talking Ashaiman. And you ask this person, why is it that you're not considered a Ghanaian? And they'll tell you, because I speak a language that is not indigenous originally to our country. I'm not usually accepted.
Well, I don't know.
To have a passport.
I don't know, see.
To acquire citizenship.
We have seen in this country people who are non-Ghanaians who are holding Ghanaian passports. I think that there are checks. I don't know what the story says about the basis for the concerns of discrimination, but there are people in this country. It's not difficult to get a Ghanaian passport. I think that if you're able to identify yourself properly, you should be able to get a Ghanaian passport. And if it's about the NIA, like I'm saying again, I haven't read. It's about the Fulani community. It's not about the NIA. I get it. The
NIA is registering people.
But what are they talking about?
And once they do the registration, then it determines who becomes a Ghanaian.
Yes.
And going forward, that will be the document of choice for you to be verified as a Ghanaian. I get
that, but I'm saying, Roland, what does the story give the basis for the discrimination concerns they are raising? Because if I don't know why are they saying that people around them don't want to live together with them in harmony because they don't feel they are Ghanaian enough, or they're saying that they want to go through some processes and they are being disallowed from going through those processes because they are not being identified as Ghanaians. Those are two different things. You get what I mean? Because then there's a legal basis for you to say I'm being discriminated against because I have given you all the proof that I am Ghanaian. I've given you all the proof that I live here, I was born here, or my parents were born here, and you are still not giving me, according me, the necessary, I'm not getting the word, but you're not recognizing me, or the necessary recognition as a citizen. I think we need to separate those two issues. And when people feel like, oh, you are Fulani, you are not Ghanaian, you are Fulani, that's a behavioral problem. That's a
very xenophobic.
That we need. No, that's a behavioral problem on the part of us as people who live with these people that we need to address. But when you're saying that I have been prevented from
are you saying that
Roland, can you, if you only listen to me, I'm saying that. I don't know what the story says. But if the story is saying that I am being discriminated against because I went to register for NIA and they did not recognize me as being Ghanaian, so they didn't give it to me, that's a legal basis for discrimination. You can contest it and prove that I am Ghanaian. If you're saying, that's one thing. If you're saying that Roland doesn't want to recognize me as Ghanaian because I speak a different language, that's a different story altogether. So those are two different things. That's what I'm saying, that we need to separate the two. Are people not getting the necessary recognition to get certain things that they need to get as citizens of Ghana? Or is it a problem with people around them not recognizing them because they are considered as Fulani people? Those are two different things, and we work on them separately. If Roland doesn't recognize me as Ghanaian, I want to talk to Roland, and I want to get perhaps the state institutions to talk to Roland to change his behavior towards me, because it's not fair. It is discriminatory. But if the state itself is preventing me from acquiring certain identification documents, then you can prove. You just have to prove that you're Ghanaian and contest it. How do you prove when the state and its officers and assigns and the institutions that are responsible for the registration that ultimately will determine if you're a Ghanaian prove to you that they don't intend to accommodate even your grievances? No, that's simple. The Constitution is clear. What do you do? You go to court? No, you said it. A Fulani headsman should go to court. No, hang on. The Constitution is clear. We should not also lose sight of the fact that there are people who would want to be afforded all the necessary recognition that Ghanaians get who are not Ghanaians. You and I know that that happens. There are people in this country who own Ghanaian passports who are not Ghanaians. We know that as well. So in the quest to make sure that people are not discriminated against, we also have to protect our identity. We also have to protect our own. So if someone is not Ghanaian and they are trying to be Ghanaian, Gifty, this makes a double standard. You're supporting Black Lives Matter and anti. I don't know why you keep mixing up anti-Trump sentiments. I don't know why you keep so.
And these are all.
If I am not an American,
and these are all targeted at Hispanics, Black community, people of African origin who have become African Americans.
Really,
and all of a sudden you are saying that seriously? Yeah, if somebody is
you keep mixing the issues.
I'm saying that we should stay on the same lane and attribute our own values and principles to what we think should exist elsewhere.
If you're Ghanaian, you're Ghanaian. You prove it that you're Ghanaian. Okay. If people around you are discriminating against you,
pure double standards. I don't understand.
No.
Anyway, end this conversation.
Okay, I think you're mixing the issues.
No, I'm not.
If I'm not, I can't go.
Plainly, all I'm saying, Gifty, is that we have peculiar problems in our country in which we have minorities and vulnerable groups in Ghana, the rest of Africa, who are discriminated against.
No doubt about it.
Okay,
let's deal with that as a problem.
So why is it that we don't hit the street, we don't have hashtags, we don't organize protests, mass up, to focus on such issues?
People are free to do so if they want to.
Okay.
People are free to do so. You are free to do so.
Why is it that we don't know?
People choose what they want to follow. People choose what they want to follow.
Let's do myjohnline.com. Please do myjohnline.com.
But I think that, from my pick is the Daily Graphic story that shows children begging for money on the streets, being pushed by their parents, whoever they are, their guardians.
This is
going out. Look, let's deal with the problem. Hitting the streets, well, if you want to, that's okay. But let's deal with the problem. The institutions mandated, paid by the taxpayer. I get my salary and I see that you have taken a chunk out of it. Those people who get that money, that part of my salary, please take up this story, take up this issue, and take care of these children. Take care of these children.
We should hit the street. Now you say we should leave it to the institutions.
It's not necessary to hit the streets if there are ways to deal with the problem apart from hitting the street, Roland.
There should be parity and fairness.
Gender ministry. This story is right there on your lap. Go on the street and take care of these children who are perhaps inadvertently spreading COVID-19.
Okay, so we're doing myjohnline.com.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so we have myjohnline.com.
Okay, government lays out protocols for churches as they resume services from June 7. Roland says he can't wait to go to church. We'll wait and see whether he's just saying it to the camera or if he really means it, as we can see what's in his heart. Other stories on myjoyonline.com. Ekufuado's 1 million for constituency promise was a scam. That's according to the NDC. Comes with a picture of the minority chief with Muntaka Mubarak there. The Dankwa Institute press conference is also featuring prominently there. And then Mahama lacked good plan for oil and gas sector, according to Amin Adam. That interview with Evans Mensah. And there'll be random checks at churches, mosques to ensure compliance with directive. Religious Affairs Minister is saying that. We'll see how that pans out. More stories there on myjoyonline.com. You want to take your time and go through it. And as Roland always says, try and look up our YouTube channel as well. Obinim is also featuring prominently there. His trial adjourned to July the 20th. Click on that story. Take a look at what it actually says. Okay, so that's it for myjoyonline.com.
Definitely. And we have to take a break for sports gifting.
By all means. Okay, so we're doing sports when we return from here. And then we have the big conversation coming on. Roland Walker has a one-on-one interview with the Electoral Commission. Now, they are starting the pilot of the registration process today. Very interesting. I want to listen to that conversation
myself.
And I think you want to really, but you heard it already.
Oh, we listen. When you're interacting, it's not the same like you.
Anyway, it's good to keep listening. Yeah. Keep listening as well so that you can, absorb the message. Let's do sports.